العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم افتح علينا بفتوح العارفين وجهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل واهدنا إلى سواء السبيل اللهم ارزقنا يا ربي فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين والهم الملائكة المقربين في عافيته يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم زدنا علما نافعا عملا صالحا قلبا خاشعا ورزقا حلالا طيبا وزنا يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أغننا بالعلم وزينا بالحلم وأكرمنا بالتقوى وجملنا بالعافية يا أرحم الراحمين صلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين بسم الله.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala al-Imam Abdullah bin Alwi al-Haddad fi kitab Risalatul Mudzakarah ma'al ikhwanil muhibbin min ahli al-khair wad din wa nafa'na bi wa bi 'ulumihi fid dharain amin radhiyallahu ankum. Page 32, the four obstacles to obedience. Because the abode of this world is founded upon hardship and trial, needed with trouble and distress, and filled with preoccupations and distractions, the things that divert one away from acts of obedience abound, as do those things that incite to transgression. These distractions and incitements are numerous, but may be reduced to four categories. The first is ignorance, the second weakness of faith, the third long hopes, the fourth eating illicit or dubious food. We shall briefly discuss each of these four, God willing, to demonstrate how blameworthy they truly are, and to show how to guard oneself and free oneself from them. Success is from God.
Continue.
Number 7, ignorance. As for ignorance, it is the origin of all evil and root of every harm. Ignorant people are one thing indicated by the Prophet ﷺ saying, "This world is accursed, and accursed is what is in it, except the remembrance of God, the learned and those learning." It has been said that when God created ignorance, He said to it, "Come," but it moved away. He said to it, "Go," but it came. Then He said, "By my might, I have created nothing in creation more hateful to me than you, and I shall place you amongst the worst of my creation." Ali radiallahu anh said, "There is no enemy worse than ignorance. A man is the enemy of that which he has no knowledge of." Ignorance is blameworthy according to both textual and rational proof, and this can hardly be concealed to anyone. The ignorant person succumbs to neglecting obligations and committing sins, whether he wishes it or not, because he neither knows the obligation God has enjoined upon him nor the misdeeds God has forbidden. He can leave the shadows of ignorance only by the light of knowledge. How excellent are the words of Sheikh Ali ibn Abi Bakr when he said, "Ignorance is a fire that burns a man's religion, and knowledge the water that extinguishes it." So you must learn what God has made incumbent for you to learn. You are not obliged to acquire extensive knowledge, but rather that knowledge of their beliefs without which your faith remains unsound. You are also required to learn the proper performance of your obligatory acts of obedience and how to avoid what is prohibited. This is an immediate duty with regard to immediate obligations and a deferred duty for those matters that may be deferred. Malik bin Dinar rahimahullah used to say, "He who seeks knowledge for himself, a little will suffice him. But he who seeks knowledge for the people's needs are numerous."
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Rasulillah Muhammad bin Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Ilahi anta maqsudi wa ridhaka matlubi atini mahabbataka wa ma'rifatak. Last week we have read regarding delight in obedience. Regarding about the goodness in doing obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rewards pertaining to it. Today we will discuss on the four obstacles to obedience. So as a servant of Allah Azza wa Jal, we know that we are commanded to do obedience to Allah, to refrain from His prohibition. But we need to know also what are the obstacles to obedience so that we may avoid it and we may try our best to do much obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya to reap the rewards in akhirat, inshallah. Al-Habib Abdullah bin Ali Haddad, he said, وَلَمَّا كَانَتْ هَذِهِ الدَّارِ قَدْ أُسِّسَتْ عَلَى الْمِحَنِ وَالْآفَاتِ. Because the abode of this world, this dunya, it is founded upon hardship and trial. So this dunya, there's no easiness in it. Even not only poor people finding, not only poor people have hardship in their life, but even rich people also have hardship in their life. Not only employees have hardship in their life and trials in their life, but bosses also have hardship and trials in their life. So everyone are facing hardship and trial in their life. This is founded, the abode of this world is founded upon this. وَعُجِنَتْ, needed with trouble and distress. وَعُجِنَتْ بِالْمُنَغِّصَاتِ وَالْمُكَدِّرَاتِ, and filled with preoccupations and distraction. In this dunya, there's a lot of preoccupations and distraction, of course. So many things that are distracting us, preoccupying us from getting close to Allah Azza wa Jal, making us stressed, making us away from Allah Azza wa Jal, divert our attention from the acts of obedience, as do those things that incite to transgressions. So therefore we need to know, how are we going to overcome this? How are we going to overcome this obstacle? So this is the purpose of us learning knowledge, of us increasing our knowledge, so that we are able to know this distraction and this obstacle, and we will earn the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore Imam al-Haddad, he reduced it to 4 categories, the main 4 categories. So the first one that we will discuss today is al-jahlu, ignorance. Ignorance, the first one. The second is bi'aful iman, weakness of faith, weakness of iman. This weakness of iman also is one of the obstacles to obedience, and it is one of the reason where people will have more and more hardship and trial in their life, to the extent that there are a lot of people where they are facing depression, stress. They are unable to even sleep at night, and they are even taking sleeping pills every night to sleep. Their mind just can't find peace. They just do not have any tranquility in their heart. So therefore Islam, alhamdulillah, ala hadhi ni'matul Islam, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this ni'mat Islam. If we were to study Islam, we were to practice Islam as what is being taught in the Holy Quran, what is being taught in the tradition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no matter in what conditions you are, you will find peace and tranquility and happiness inside yourself, inside your heart. And the third one is long hopes, and the fourth, eating haram or dubious food. So we shall briefly discuss each of these, inshallah, to demonstrate how blameworthy they truly are, and to show how to guard oneself and free oneself from them. Success is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore you need to know the obstacle. Then after that, you need to know why is this an obstacle. Then after that, you need to know how to guard yourself from this obstacle and how to free yourself from it. Then when you have managed to do these steps, then when you are free from it, mashallah, then the path is open for you. It's open as big as Allah wants for you to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we know success is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is the one who give us success, inshallah. Okay, the first one now. The first one, fi tahdhir min al-jahl, regarding how do you guard yourself from jahl, from ignorance. So first and foremost, we need to know what is ignorance. What are the blameworthy traits of ignorance? As for ignorance, it is the origin of all evil and root of every harm. That is ignorance. Aslu kulli shar. Every evil, every harm comes from jahil, come from ignorance. Ignorance of knowing Allah, ignorance of knowing the greatness of Allah, ignorance of not knowing the purpose of life, ignorance of the knowledge of what is halal and haram. All these are ignorance. So because of ignorance of all these things, it is all evil and root of every harm. So ignorance people are one thing indicated by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said, "Ad-dunya mal'una mal'unun ma fiha illa dhikrullah wa 'alimun wa muta'allimun." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, listen to this hadith probably. This dunya is accursed. The Prophet said, this dunya, this world is accursed. And accursed is what is in it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Because Muslim, we are created in this world not to worship this world, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we have life after this world. We have alam barzakh, we have akhirat, we have jannah. But the Prophet said, this world is accursed, and accursed is what it is in it, except dhikrullah, except the remembrance of Allah. Except those who engage in the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. It means that they are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for nothing, but they know what is the purpose of them being created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they use that time, that nikmat, the purpose of their life is to remember Allah, because they know that by remembering Allah, they will earn all goodness of this world and the hereafter. That's the first one. Number two, the learned one, mu'allim. The second one is wa'alimun, or mu'allim. Wa'alimun, the one who has knowledge. Opposite of the one who has knowledge is the ignorance. The ignorance are the accursed one. They have opportunities to learn, to study. They do not want to study. But we need to know also what are the things that you should study. You make good in one subject, that doesn't mean that you are an alim in everything. You make good in one subject, but if you have not learned the other subject, it means you need to learn to study the other subject. To know about the other subject. Now, for example, if we are in the secular school, if you learn English only, not enough. You need to learn maths, you need to learn science, and so on and so forth. After you learn science, then after that you can study physics or chemistry or biology. But if you are master in that subject, for example, that doesn't mean that you also master the sciences of religion also. So even though maybe you earn degree or master degree or PhD in any secular subject, which is good, alhamdulillah, but that doesn't mean that you are learned. You are learned in fiqh, you are learned in tawheed, you are learned in tasawwuf, except if you study that sciences, except if you study under the guidance of a scholar, except if you study and you practice what you have studied, you learn and you practice and you make ikhlas in it, and then you can see the fruits. You bear the fruits of that knowledge. So we need to understand that. So doesn't mean that a student who master the sciences in school, in any subject, in any faculty, that means I'm a bright student, I'm a brilliant student. That means if I read the Quran by myself also, I can understand it. I read the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ by myself also, I can understand. I read about Islam just by Googling also, I can understand it. No, you cannot do that. It is wrong. It is very wrong to do that. You cannot do that, because in every subject, in every sciences of this religion, you need a teacher to guide you. You need a person who has mastered this knowledge to guide you, to bring you, to advise you, and to teach you, and to tell you what is right and what is wrong. For example, if you learn mathematics, you need a maths teacher. If you learn science, you need a science teacher. You learn English, you need an English teacher. You cannot use that English teacher to teach you maths. He will find difficulty in teaching you maths because he's not used to it. Even if the maths teacher is not around, so you need to find a replacement, a teacher who can teach maths. Example, it was the same thing as religion also. So we need to understand this properly. We need to put it inside our head. We need to put it inside our heart, that even though you graduate from anywhere, but you have not learned the sciences of the religion, that means you are still ignorant. You still need to learn the religion. Do not see yourself as an alim, because if you see yourself an alim, then that is deception of shaitan. You have been deluded by shaitan. Na'udzubillah min zalik. Because shaitan is the one who said that, oh, you are alim. You have this certificate, you are graduate from here, graduate from here. So no need to learn. You just Google, only Google, everything Google. You want to find out about something, just Google. In the end, what happened? When Na'udzubillah min zalik, there are people who are being radicalized. There are people, who becomes liberal. There are people who becomes this, because why? They are not guided properly. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he's talk about the harms of being ignorant. This is why Imam Al-Haddad he said, as for ignorance, it is the origin for all evil and root of every harm. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even said, "Fas'alu ahla dhikri in kuntum la ta'lamun." Ask the one who knows if you do not know. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said, can you compare, or is it the same, those who have knowledge and those who doesn't have knowledge? Definitely it is not the same. Definitely it is different. Big difference. Definitely. A faqih, a one who has ilm, who has knowledge in fiqh, and the one who doesn't have knowledge in fiqh, definitely is different. So therefore, when you study also, you need to know. You need to know the steps. You need to know how are you going to learn this particular subject. Look, for example, in our education system, how do we learn our English language when we are young? We start off with A, B, C. A for apple, B for beruang, C for cat, D for dog, and so on and so forth. You start from A, B, C, D, F, G. Then after that, your teacher will teach you, sentence construction, basic grammar, basic vocabulary, is, are, there, this, and so on, that, the pronoun, and so on, domir muttasil, domir munfasil, and so on, so forth. Then after that, bit by bit, then there will be comprehension, then composition, and composition also. First also you will write, and like for example, autobiography of a pen, short composition, 50 words, 100 words, then 150 words, 200 words, 300 words. Then mashallah. When your knowledge keep increasing, Allah keep increasing your knowledge because you learn, you study and study and study. Then in the end, for you to write a 10,000 words also, no problem for you. The same thing as religion. If you want to learn the religion, you need to study step by step, one by one. You need to start off from the most basic first. If you want to study Arabic language, you need to start from the most basic first. Like how you learn English language or Malay language, you need to study Arabic in that manner. You need to find a teacher who teach you in that manner. If you want to learn fiqh also, the same thing. You need to start off with the most simplest book, with matan. Matan means a short book. Like for example, Safinatun Najah, Risalatul Jamia, and Mukhtasar Latif of Imam Al-Abi Shuja, Fathul Qarib. Then after that, bit by bit, then after that you are able to understand that subject, that particular subject. An example, you want to learn Aqidah, Tawheed, you start off with Aqidatul Awam, then you study about the 20 sifat wajib bagi Allah, 20 sifat mustahil bagi Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and also after that the 4 sifat yang wajib bagi para nabi, and so on, and the opposite yang mana haram for a prophet to have it, and also the name of the angels, and so on. So this is how you learn it. You cannot straight away you want to learn fiqh, straight away you read big books, you read all the 4 madhab, the khilaf, and so on and so forth. Then there is jahil also, there is ignorance also. This is not the way to study the sciences of the religion. So ignorance is not only about not studying, but also studying the wrong method also, or studying from the wrong people also. This is what we fear of. May Allah guide us. Make dua to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that may He guide you to someone who can teach you, who can bring you to the path of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because if you learn the wrong things, then وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ, in the end of the day, you study the wrong things, you practice the wrong things, and in the end of the day, you are unable to reach Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You were not able to get the maghfirah of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Therefore, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ عَذَابًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَالِمٌ لَمْ يَنْفَعْهُ بِعِلْمِهِ لَمْ يَنْفَعْهُ اللَّهُ بِعِلْمِهِ. The worst torment upon those who the worst punishment that will be imposed by Allah in the day of judgment is to those knowledgeable people whom their knowledge is not beneficial to the people. Because why? They thought that they are alim, they learn the wrong things, then after that they have followers who studied from them. Then also the followers also will become ignorant also. Because they do not study with the proper method. So everything must be systematic, must be proper. Even if you learn what do you call, you take license also, motorcycle license. So there's practical 1, there's practical 2, there's practical 3. They don't straight away, tell you to just go to the expressway and ride the motorbike. Definitely you will meet an accident. They teach you the most basic first. Then after that, slowly, bit by bit, the same thing as you take a car license also, the same thing. The instructor will teach you which one is the accelerator, which one is the brake, how the gear, now auto gear or the what do you call it? The steering wheel, how to turn right, left, signal. It doesn't tell you, okay, now take this one accelerator, this brake, just press only, then brake, press, brake, press, brake. No need to look at the mirror, the front mirror, side mirror, or stuff like ignorance also. Ignorance in driving also cause accidents also. So ignorance is everything, in everything cause harm. So just imagine ignorance in driving cause accident, ignorance in cooking also, the food will not be nice. Now we are talking about ignorance in religion. What's going to happen when someone is ignorant in the religion? It will harm you in this dunya, it will harm you in akhirat. So now we understand why Imam Al-Haddad said it is the origin of all evil and root of every harm. So this is what Nabi SAW said. As he mentioned, the world is accursed, and accursed is what is in it except the remembrance of God. The learned, the alim, the one who teach the ummah, and those who are learning from him, the muta'allim. Because those who are learning from him, they will not be accursed by Allah Azza wa Jal, because they are trying their best to bring themselves out from the ignorance to the light of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Al-ilmu nurun. Knowledge is light. So it has been said that when God created ignorance, Inna Allah lamma khalaqal jahl qala lahu aqbil fa adbar wa qala lahu adbir fa aqbal. When Allah created ignorance, He said to it, come, but it moved away. He said to it, go, but it came. So ignorance is like nafs, it's like the lower desire. When Allah said go, come. Allah said come, just go. Because it's ignorant, doesn't know what is right, what is wrong. Then He said, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, فَقَالَ lahu. Allah said to the ignorance, by my might, I have created nothing in creation more hateful to me than you, and I shall place you among the worst of my creation. Astaghfirullah azim. Therefore, if someone said that, I don't want to learn because I heard a hadith of the Prophet, if you learn and you don't practice, then you will get punishment from Allah. Then know that by not learning, then you will be placed among the worst of the creation of Allah. Na'uzubillah min zalik. So therefore, take the opportunity. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Nowadays, we have so many classes. Alhamdulillah. You go to Facebook, YouTube, mashallah. You can study even with mashaikh, with teachers from other countries. The big scholars also. Without you going there, without you buying the air ticket, or without you even register under his school, you can just watch from YouTube or Facebook. You can just study from him, mashallah. Nikmah from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. It is a sign from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to us that there is no excuse for you to say that nobody is here to teach me. No excuse. Because nowadays almost everyone is online now. Everyone is looking at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So it's either whether you use it the right way, the way that you will earn the pleasure of Allah, or the other way around. This is up to us to choose. So Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib karamallahu wajhah said, La adu a'da min al-jahl wal mar'u adu wa ma jahil. Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib said, there is no enemy worse than ignorance. A man is the enemy of that which he has no knowledge of. So if you do not know how to pray, you must study. You must know the methods of praying. If you do not know how to make wudu, you must know the methods of wudu. For ladies, if you do not know about hayd and nifas, you must study about hayd and nifas and also isti'adah. A couple who wants to get married, for example, they must learn about munakahat. They cannot just get married like that and without knowing about munakahat, about tahara, about salat, about munakahat. A person who wants to set up a business, he must learn the fiqh mu'amalat, about business dealings, and so on and so forth. And if you have money now, alhamdulillah, you have savings, you must learn the fiqh of zakat. So therefore, you fulfill your obligations of taking out your zakat. So this is the Imam Ali said, a man is the enemy of that which he has no knowledge of. So ignorance is blameworthy, according to both textual, from hadith, Quran and hadith, textual, and rational proof also. If you don't use textual also, rational proof. Jahil is blameworthy. Everyone knows that. And this can hardly be concealed to anyone. The ignorant person succumbs to neglecting obligation and committing sins. This is the worst part. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَدْرِي أَيُّ شَيْءٍ طَاعَةٍ الَّتِي أَمَرَهُ اللَّهُ بِفِعْلِهِمَا وَلَا أَيُّ شَيْءٍ الْمَعْصِيَةِ الَّتِي نَهَاهُ اللَّهُ عَنْ إِرْتِكَابِهَا. Because why? The ignorant person succumbs to neglecting obligation and committing sins, whether he wishes it or not, because he neither knows the obligation Allah has enjoined upon him, nor the misdeeds Allah has forgiven. He doesn't know it. Astaghfirullah. So, you see how ignorance can bring these people to. Like that, it happened once, mashallah, in the time, last time, one of our mashayikh, our teacher, Habib Salim bin Abdullah bin Rashad, he told us this story about this man. He went to Hajj. He went for Hajj. After that, he met Al-Imam Sayyid Alwi bin Abbas al-Maliki. Al-Habib Alwi bin Abbas al-Maliki is the teacher of Al-Habib Salim bin Abdullah bin Umar Shatri in Makkah al-Mukarramah. He said, he went to visit him, this sheikh, and he asked, how was your Hajj? Oh, mashallah, my Hajj was good. Ya sheikh, my Hajj was good. I managed to do a lot of tawaf, I managed to do sa'i, I managed to pray in Masjidil Haram, I went to Mina, I went to Muzdalifah, and I threw stones to Jamra al-Ula, Usta, Aqaba. Everything I do perfectly, alhamdulillah, mashallah, Haji Mabrur, I will get Haji Mabrur, except that I did not go to Arafah for wukuf. You said that. You see, Jahil. Where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Hajju Arafah. Hajj is Arafah, and Arafah is one of the rukons of Hajj, one of the integrals of Hajj. Because ignorance, he doesn't learn. In the end, he tired himself out with all the ibadah. In the end, his ibadah is not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there was another story narrated by Al-Habib Salim also, Abdullah bin Mashadri. He said, there was this man also who came to him. About the same story, he said, MashaAllah, Habib, this year my Hajj was wonderful, MashaAllah. I did everything, all the Arkanul Hajj, Ihram, Niyad, I went to Arafah, MashaAllah, Hajj, Tawaf, Ifadah, and so on, so on. Everything I fulfilled. But in Arafah, because I want to earn the blessing of Arafah in the day of Arafah, I came to my wife, make jima with my wife, hoping that inshallah if she gets pregnant, I will give the child that she bears in her womb, I will give the child name Arafah. Whereas during Hajj it is haram to come to the wife. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But because this person doesn't know, ignorance, and he does that on the day of Arafah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You see how blameworthy are ignorance. How blameworthy are ignorance. La ilaha illallah Rasulullah. So it is wajib for us to take seriously of knowledge, of ilm, of learning, of studying, of increasing our knowledge, inshallah. And you keep increasing your knowledge, your mind also will be sharper. Your heart also will be stronger. Your yaqeen to Allah will be stronger, because you have that ilm, you have that knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put inside you. So He can leave the shadows of ignorance only by the light of knowledge, only by the nur al-ilm, by the light of knowledge. How excellent the Sheikh Ali bin Abu Bakr, one of the Sheikh ulama, big wali min awliya in Hadramaut. When he said, "Al-jahlu narun lid-din al-mar'i yuhriquhu wal-ilmu ma'un litilka an-nari yutfiha." Ignorance is a fire that burns a man's religion. Ignorance is a fire that burns a man's religion. Knowledge is the water that extinguishes it. So you must learn. This is important. You must learn what God has made incumbent for you to learn. That is the most important, which is the ilmu fardu ain. That is the most important thing. But you are not obliged to acquire extensive knowledge. But if you want, tafaddal. You want to learn extensive knowledge, tafaddal. You want to study, wherever you want to go, tafaddal. You can do that, but go and acquire the fardu ain first. That is the most important thing. But rather that knowledge of the belief without which your faith remains unsound. You are also required to learn the proper performance of your obligatory acts of obedience. This is the most important thing. You must know how to do your obligatory acts and how to avoid what is prohibited. This is an immediate duty with regard to immediate obligations. Like salat, immediate duty, so immediate obligation. And a deferred duty for those matters that may be deferred. Like for example, Hajj. You can defer your study about Hajj as long as the time before you fly off to Hajj. For example, if you are leaving for Hajj next year, until now you haven't learned about what are the obligations that you have to do when you go to Hajj. It's okay. There's no sin upon you. But you must make sure before you fly off, before you go for Hajj, you must already know what are the do and the don'ts. Al-Imam Malik bin Dinar, rahimahullah ta'ala, he used to say, he who seeks knowledge for himself, a little will suffice him. If you are seeking knowledge for yourself, fardu ain will be enough for you. Other than that, you want to take up courses, skills, upgrading, whatever you want to take. No problem with that. But he who seeks knowledge for the people's needs are numerous. If you seek knowledge for the people, that means you have that zeal to do da'wah in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. Then you have to strive hard. You have to study for a long period of time. You have to sit with the mashaikh. You have to make a lot of sabr, especially when you are overseas. When you are studying overseas, for example, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a bit of test. For example, if you are not well or whatever it is, you have to have sabr. You cannot study 40 days or 2 months or 3 months after you come back to Singapore. You think that you are alim. No such thing as that. You need to study for years, many years, with alims, with scholars, with ulama, where you sit down with them, read books with them, they explain to you, and you practice it, and you tahqiq, you learn, and you understand it, you write, summarize it, and so on and so forth. Then after that, you can become an alim, and it takes a number of years. So if you seek knowledge for the people's needs are numerous. Wallahu alam. So we will stop here, inshallah. Next week we will continue on the second obstacle of obedience is di'ful iman, weakness of iman. So we will study on about the blameworthy of it, and how are we going to increase our iman, and how are we going to free ourselves from this weakness of iman, inshallah. Wallahu alam bisawab. Any question, tafaddal, you can ask via WhatsApp. I have 3 questions. Okay. I find it so difficult to stop a particular sin after committing it. I feel so terrible. I will make tawbah and I will read Quran just to make sure that I don't commit it again. But somehow, after a few weeks, I will fall into the trap again. I hate it. How do I make sure I don't succumb to my temptations? If I keep repeating the sin, does this mean that my tawbah isn't accepted? Now, when something bad happens, how do we know that it is a punishment for our mistake? Or is it a way that Allah wants us to get closer to Him? Now, so if you find it difficult to stop a particular sin after you committing it, but after that you make tawbah and you read the Quran and so on and so forth, you need, the first and foremost, you need to know why do you fall into that sin. That particular time, day, week, that place where you are, where you fall into that sin, do something else. Fill it up with something else. Maybe that first week is difficult, but do something else. Fill it up with something else. Even you fill it up something else, like you go for jogging. That is something which is mubah. It's not a sin. Rather than you fall into that maksiat, it is better for you to go out and go and run, for example. But if you are able to fill it up with ibadah to Allah, that is much better, of course, alhamdulillah. But every time when you fall into sin, yes, it is wajib to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wajib, of course. It is wajib to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sincerely make tawbah. We must know this one thing. When you sincerely make tawbah to Allah azza wa jal, Allah looks at your heart. When Allah looks at your heart, and when you are sincere, and when Allah wants to protect you, then there's no shaitan or no nafsu is able to trap you again and make you fall into that maksiat. So the most important thing is your heart. Whether are you sincere or not in coming back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are sincere, really, really sincere, you feel bad and at the same time you are really, really sincere, you do not want to do it again, Allah is your protector, inshallah. If I keep repeating the sin, does this mean that my tawbah isn't accepted? No. Every time you make sin, you tawbah. If you are sincere in that tawbah, that sin is forgiven by Allah. Then after that, another sin you make, then you make another tawbah. That sin is forgiven by Allah azza wa jalla, provided that you are not playing with your tawbah. When something bad happens, how do we know it is a punishment for our mistake? Or is it a way that Allah wants to get closer to Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us to have good assumption on Him. Do not always think that, this thing happened to me, this bad thing happened to me because Allah wants to punish us. No, don't think like that. If something not good happens to you, then make dua to Allah that Allah change it for the better. If something not good happens to you, take it as something which is good. Don't always take things negative. Everything you take it negative. Take it as Allah wants to save you from a bigger calamity. That's why Allah give you this difficulty. That is how you have husnul dhan to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Despite understanding the meaning and trying, I find it difficult to achieve 100% khushu'. After each prayer, I feel very sad and ask for forgiveness. Do I fall into the category of hypocrite because every prayer I ask for forgiveness and commit the same mistake? Now, if you feel sad and ask for forgiveness from Allah because of your shortcoming, it is a sign of iman inside your heart. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. It is good that you feel your shortcomings, you know your shortcomings, and you ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather than you don't have khushu' and after your prayer, you don't even ask for forgiveness and you think that you have done your prayer properly. If that happens, wal'iyadu billah min zalik, fear that you might fall into to the category of hypocrites. Na'uzubillah min zalik. May Allah save us from that. But no matter whatever it is, just do your prayer. Try our level best to have khushu' to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who give us, not we. Allah is the one who give us. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Continue to knock on the door of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely open the door for you. May I ask, what is considered basic fardu ain? Avoiding what is prohibited, improving immediate obligations, salat, zakat. Now, fardu ain, there are three subjects. Number one, Tawheed. You need to study Tawheed. Tawheed, your Aqidah. You must learn Aqidah. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Upon the mazhab of Imam Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari or Imam Ma'turidi. For example, just now we have mentioned, you can read the book of Aqidatul Awam. You can read the book of Aqidatul Awam. This book, the creed, the basic creed, where every Muslim needs to know. Like for example, the 20 sifat wajib of Allah Azza wa Jal, all the rukun iman, from first rukun iman about believing in Allah Azza wa Jal. Then we need to study that beriman kepada malaikat. We need to know what is that. Beriman kepada Rasul. We need to know what is that until the 6 rukun iman. So that is the basic need. That is the fardu ain. Number 2 is the fiqh. You need to study fiqh also regarding your immediate needs, your daily ibadah to Allah. And the third one is purification of the heart, which is tasawwuf. Because if there's 2 and this third, that you don't study this number 3, then this 2 will do it without sincerity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the third must come. It must be together. Like the hadith of Jibril, there's iman, is Islam, iman and ihsan. So Islam is the fiqh, iman is the tawheed, and ihsan is the tasawwuf. So these 3 are the fardu ain. Is it considered aib and wrong to mention in a discussion that we had days of jahil in our personal past, wanting to share a self-reflection with a friend and mention we learned because we had a jahil? Don't tell others about what maksiat that you had done in the past. It's aib, of course. You don't say that. You don't go and tell people about the sins that you committed in the past. Astaghfirullah. Allah wants to cover you, but you want to open yourself. Allah wants to cover you from your mistake. Why do you want to tell people about it? You can share, maybe you say that someone, but don't say it yourself. If you want to share it for the benefit of everyone, but don't mention your name. Clear? Or mention something else other than talking about aib. What's the importance of ilmu fardu kifayah and its benefits? Of course, for ilmu fardu kifayah is as what has been mentioned in Imam Al-Haddad. He said that if you are learning for the needs of people, then you need to learn the fardu kifayah. The benefits of fardu kifayah, there are many, of course. Like for example, if you are learning about, for example, engineering or mechanics, for example, you can repair cars. You cannot send your spoiled car to a alim. The alim cannot do that. Or for example, the alim cannot just say, Auzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim on your car, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Then your engine can start. He doesn't have that knowledge. So the knowledge of this mechanic is very important for them to repair cars or repair aeroplanes, or for example doctors. If let's say someone had a heart attack in the airplane, the alim maybe recite Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina azabannar in the aeroplane. But if there's a doctor in the aeroplane, he can save lives. So these are some of the benefits of ilmu fardu kifayah, which is we need to learn also now. Clear? With the proper intention, of course. Right, wallahu alam. So okay, we will stop here, inshallah. There's no more question. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us knowledge, inshallah. Knowledge that give us light in our heart. Knowledge that bring us closer to Allah. Knowledge that will earn the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from ignorance, save our children, our family from ignorance, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep increasing our knowledge, so that we are able to increase our taqwa to Allah, increase our iman to Allah, increase our yaqeen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. You close the class inshallah with recitation of surah Al-Mulk inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فتور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتيكم نذير
قالوا
بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسوقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبض ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم. قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين. قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون. قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم. قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين. قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا ربنا اعترفنا بأننا اقترفنا وأننا أسرفنا على لظى أشرفنا فتب علينا توبة تغسل لكل حوبة واستر لنا العورات وآمن الروعات واغفر لوالدينا ربي ومولودينا والأهل والإخوان وسائر خلان وكل ذي محبة أو جيرة أو صحبة والمسلمين أجمع آمين ربي فاسمع فضلا وجودا منا لا باكتساب منا بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول. صلى وسلم ربي عليه عد الحب وآله وصحبه عدادة الصحب والحمد لله في البدء والتنهي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.